Hey guys, how are you? It's me again! Woo! Yes, and I'd like to ask you, what do you think of us? What do you think of our teachers here at Clli? Huh? Don't you know us? Don't you know our teachers? Shame on you, shame on you. So to help you find us, we have up here a link with a track list of all of us, all our teachers, okay? So after this video, check on them. The topic today is something very important for us here, for our nation. It's a national passion. It's football, yes! And I'm going to talk about the World Cup that takes place in Russia this year, okay? So, do you know everything about the World Cup? Let's check it out. Basically, the World Cup is a football championship played by national teams. The 23 best players of each country represents their nation going to the World Cup and running for the title, okay? That's easy like this. The event is organized by FIFA. That's not an English name. It means Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Yes, the name is French. It's not English. That's because it was created, it was firstly idealized by Jules Rimet in 1928. In 1930, the first edition of the World Cup took place in Uruguay. And at that time, we only had 13 teams being part of it. We didn't have any presence of European teams here. That's because back there, at that time, we didn't have the option of traveling by planes or airplanes. The only option was by ships. And it took too much time to get here in South America, so it was not an option. And as we didn't have any presence of Europeans here, and only 13 teams running for the title, I would like to ask you a question. Who won the first World Cup? Do you know the answer? I'll give you 3 options, okay? First, A, Brazil, B, Uruguay, or C, Argentina. What do you think? Time to think. Don't you know the answer? Okay, check on the description. It's written here. We can't say that the World Cup is an event that has never been uninterrupted, because between 1942 and 1946, the world suffered with the Second World War. And at that time, of course, for obvious reasons, we didn't have the World Cup in any of those years. So, do you know the winners of all editions of the World Cups? Do you know which teams had the possibility to be the best in the world? We've had 8 World Cup champions by the time. They are Brazil with 5 titles. Yes, Brazil! Brazil. Germany, 4 titles. Italy, 4 titles. Argentina. Boo, Argentina, boo. Okay, Argentina has 2 titles. Uruguay, 2. France, England, and Spain, 1 title each, okay? There is something about this. In my opinion, Brazil should be considered the reference of football undoubtedly. That's because we're the greatest champions of all time. Not only that, we have a lot of players with a lot of talent here, and we've had it since the beginning of the sport. And now, we're not. Unfortunately, we're not, because we're not as organized here in Brazil as we're skilled. So the problem is not that we do not have talent anymore, we have a lot of skilled players, but where's our capacity of managing all these talents? If you check on our Brazilian selection nowadays, we only have a few players inside our own country. That's very different from the old times. We have a lot of skilled players. We have references like Neymar, Felipe Coutinho, Paulinho, players that are in the best teams in the world, but they do not play here anymore, and we'd like to have them here. So it depends not only on them, but also depends on our ability of managing our players here. Let's see what the future reserves for us. The World Cup has developed a lot within the years. So nowadays it's really different from the first edition with 13 teams only. Nowadays we have different structures. Our World Cup now in 2018 has 32 teams, and that's very different from the 13 from the first edition. And the favorites are Belgium, that's the favorite of a lot of people in video games, England, France, Germany, that's the current champion, Portugal, Spain, Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. What's your favorite? Who do you think will win this edition of the World Cup? Huh? The 32 teams are divided into 8 groups of 4 each, and the best 2 teams of each groups succeed to the next phase. So at that time we'll have the round of 16, where the 16 best teams run for the title each other in eliminatory matches. What is an eliminatory match? It means that the loser is out of the competition. After the round of 16 we have the round of 8, which means that only the best 8 teams in the world are still part of the World Cup. It's also an eliminatory match. After that we have the semifinals. Only the best teams are here. It doesn't matter if you're an underdog or if you're a favorite. If you got here, you can be proud of yourself. In the semifinals, there is a little different rule. Although it's an eliminatory match, you have the possibility to lose and still take a medal home, because the losers here fight for the 3rd place. On the other hand, here, the winners go to the final. So, who do you think will be the finalists in this edition of the World Cup? Do you think Brazil has any chance? Add your comment here. We'll be glad to answer you, and we'll be glad to give you the attention you need, because here at Clli, this is what we do. We give you all the attention you need. See you next video. Bye bye.